Welcome to Vic Fontaines Happy Hour. We're perched at the finest bar in all the Alpha Quadrant, and we're going to drink it dry one episode of Star Trek at a time. I'm your host, Commander Cormac, and I'm joined by my fellow commanders, Gavin and Kieran. It's been a while since we've recorded this podcast, but man, it's good to be back, gents.
We are back, baby.
Yeah.
It's been, what, about 3 weeks since we've been able to record?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Aye.
Roughly. I was away on my travels in Spain, and then obviously Christmas rolls around.
So
Schedules with family. Spain was incredible. I would fully recommend Barcelona, by the way.
Yeah. Food
15 out of
amazing.
10. Great city. Food is wonderful. The drink is even better. But it's also just a great independent city to go as a family, to explore loads of areas. It's not like overly commercialized like 90% of other cities, if that makes sense. You know, where you go to most cities and you see the exact same shops. Barcelona isn't really like that. It's very cultural. It's very local in that sense. We got warned of being aware of kind of like not pickpocketing, but like stealing phones and stuff like that. But we never felt any real danger. We always felt safe. Yeah, would fully recommend Barcelona. Absolutely.
Never been. We'll check it out.
Anyway, how you guys doing? How was your Christmas, guys?
Just like me, Christmas comes each time this year. And
it
been
passes
alright.
quickly.
Then it's over. And the disappointment sets back in.
But
No, it was fine. It's just chaotic.
yeah, it was good.
Mate. Just chaotic.
Yeah.
Busy, seeing family. Christmas Day was nice. It was chilled because it was just less people. And then
Okay.
Boxing Day, I was at my parents' and there was 15 of us and 4 dogs.
Jesus.
And yeah, presents, like just my mum, just what take it a bit sad first and then we'll get happy. My mum was just very much seeking validation on all the gifts Santa had bought, which meant for all the grandkids it was just like, here's one for you. What did you get? You know what you've got because you bought them. So just let's hurry this shit up. Come on. It's just like Penny's too young to appreciate it, whereas the other 2 grandkids are like 3 and 4. So it's just presents being flung around the room. Like one, luckily they were like soft gifts, but they're like almost hitting Penny. I'm like, get her out of the way. I was just
I'd say there was barely a quiet minute or so. Like, how was Penny in terms of like with all the noise and stuff?
Christmas Day, great, loved it.
Yeah.
Boxing Day, she was teething like fuck.
Shit.
So she was pretty grumpy until she had her 2-hour nap, and then yeah, all good after that. And then I eventually got some whiskey, and I was happy. But I was told to get to my parents for a certain time. I got there. My older brother wasn't there, didn't turn up for another hour. My twin brother then didn't turn up till 2 o'clock. I got there at 11.
What do you mean, sure? He doesn't even turn up for the podcast.
No,
Never mind turn up for Christmas.
He has texted me to say he'll be on next week's episode.
God, I mean, you better show up next time.
So he turned up at 2, which was Penny's nap. So I took her back to mine, and it was just like, for fuck's sake, like now I don't get any food. It was like, I think because I see my parents all the time, so we live up the road. Like they take it for granted sometimes that they're getting to hang out with
definitely
this and their granddaughter, obviously.
And what about you, Gav? How was your Christmas, especially with Jake and
Yeah,
wee baby and everything like that?
It was good. No, sorry, I'm getting attacked by a light there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so and I was good. It's one of those ones where there's a couple of times there's a lot of people and stuff, and he does get overwhelmed, and you know, grandparents and uncles and stuff, they just want to step in. Oh, let me help, and it's like, no, he's overwhelmed. Like, let us. Like, I appreciate you want to get him used to other people, but at the same time, he's going to calm down with us. Let us just maybe hold him and take him away for a minute. Oh no, let us get in his face and like let's try and make him laugh. And he's like, no, he's overwhelmed. That's not how he works. So just a bit of frustration with that. Just like say, but then try not to cause any arguments. So not trying not to make a big deal of it and not trying to.
I told too many people to fuck off.
The thing is, well, I don't really understand about Christmas. It was like when dinner's almost ready, I was helping out mum and dad. My dad done the majority of work, credit to him.
Okay,
but it was getting towards like, you know, everything's, you know, starting to get ready. You worry about getting cold and stuff. I get that. But it's just, it was like stress. And my dad was getting stressed. My mum was getting stressed. I'm like, why? Like, we've got timings. We're on top of stuff. Everything's all right. what I say, oh, that's not been done. And it's like, yeah, well, okay, we'll get it. Like, just chill out. It's Christmas. Like, worst case scenario, something's a wee bit cold and the gravy heats it up. Like, didn't go looking for stress. I didn't get that. But I will be. How was yours?
It was honestly perfect leading
You
up to
sent a
Christmas.
photo of your dinner that you done. It looked tremendous.
Yeah, I was quite proud of that. But in the lead up to Christmas, I'd done, as I kind of said in our WhatsApp group, I'd done kind of twilight shifts, so working PM till 2 a.m. for like 6 days in a row. So it was tough because obviously your sleeping clock gets affected. You're barely sleeping anyway because you're not, you get home at 3:30. You're not sleeping until about 5:30, 6 o'clock because your body's unwinding, right? It's a lot of physical work. So yeah, it was tough, but I had Christmas Eve off, Christmas Day and Boxing Day. Fun fact, in Ireland it's called St. Stephen's Day, so I've had to get used to calling it Boxing Day.
St. Stephen's?
Yeah, St. Stephen's Day. I believe it's more of a religious thing. I did find out that apparently Boxing Day comes from back, I don't know how long ago, but richer people would box up their leftover goods and presents and give them to the less fortunate. Apparently that's where Boxing Day comes from, after Christmas
the
Day.
The rich went out, purge style, just boxed.
Pretty much. Yeah, that probably happened
for
a little
shits
bit
and
as well.
giggles.
Or gave them the presents to box each other,
I remember being lied to as a kid, like being, oh, what we do on Boxing Days, we put our presents back in our boxes and we read books and I'm like, that's a nice idea and stuff. But then I load up and I was like, oh, that's just bullshit. That was just trying to get us not enjoy our new Christmas presents that we got just the day before. Oh, thank you for the Sega Mega Drive. I'll now put it away in a box and not play it until the 27th.
It's disgusting,
no.
like.
I've got Sonic levels to get through. Ridiculous.
And you found that out that wasn't the case last year.
Yeah, I was raging. I could have finished Sonic so much faster.
But yeah, my Christmas was great. As you kind of said, I cooked Christmas dinner for my girlfriend. My girlfriend's from Cyprus, so she isn't really one for kind of making a traditional Christmas dinner. I didn't go for a turkey. I went for a lovely piece of ham joint and a duck and glazed that ham like it was no tomorrow. I basted that son of a bitch. I went to Sauce Town on that motherfucker. No, I was actually honestly really proud of it. I was meticulous with every 20 minutes. I set a timer on my watch, took it out of the oven, basted it, constantly. And yeah, they had all the trimmings, roast potatoes, Brussels sprouts and bacon, gravy. No Yorkshire puddings. Couldn't get the Yorkshire puddings I wanted to. But no, it was good and it was relaxing. It was just good to spend it with my girlfriend and to enjoy time together. Fortunately as well, not really as hectic as you guys had, to be fair.
I'm looking forward to next year. Like, Penny will be a bit older. She'll get what's going on a little bit more. This year, we just wrapped up, we bought her some new toys, and then the rest of the gifts were just wrapped up like things she hadn't seen for a while. And a Dr. Pepper bottle. She liked that for a couple of days before Christmas.
Amazing.
I presume you got her a bottle of Prime. It's good for your kids.
I know. That shit's not coming in this house. Ever.
What do you mean?
If that shit comes into this house, she's going straight out of the house.
I love it. Like, no Prime, but you can have whiskey.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Whiskey's not a problem. What were your favourite gifts you got? What was your favourite gift Santa got you this year?
Well, my present actually got a wee bit early, and I actually teased you guys about what it was until it said I'd tell you about it in the podcast. So
yeah, I forgot about it as well. Go ahead.
This is great for an audio medium, by the way.
I cannot wait to clip this.
Yeah,
what is it?
Boy.
No way! Oh my god, for anybody listening, it is a picture. It is a t-shirt with Quark's bar on it. Yeah, that is incredible. I'm very jealous. Very jealous.
And Becca was like, "Can I give you a Christmas present early?" And I was like, "Yeah," because like originally we planned to do one before Christmas and stuff. And I was like, and I opened it. Oh, I was buzzing. I did not expect it. It was a lovely surprise from. Yeah,
it's very cool. And when it's something like that, you're not really expecting, but it's also awesome of Becca to kind of support like that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and like I say, also
that's very cool.
I thought I'd put this. I've got the Star Trek scarf as well, which is really cool. So
nice.
What were you guys?
What about you, Kieran?
My favourite gift was 4 solar powered lights to go down the side of my house.
Wow.
You're such an adult, dude.
You're so old.
On the side of my house now looks like fucking runway, which is good.
Honestly, were they nice? Like
They're brilliant. Like they
Cool.
the security light we have is fucked. It don't work. I'm not
Okay.
paying to get an electrician in to fix it again. So I learned that if you just moan about different things over the course of the year, people just buy you the stuff that you've moaned about. So I always moaned that it was like too dark down the side of my house and we've got 2 steps there. Not anymore. I'll send you a picture afterwards of how good these lights are. It's banging. I'm really happy with it. So I went straight out yesterday, Boxing Day, with the drill. Drilled them onto the fence. I got some other nice things as well. Got a new coffee mug.
Lovely.
An R2D2 coffee mug. So not really for this pod.
That's cool.
That's fine. Still geeky. It's allowed.
Yeah, still nerdy.
I have no interest in the Star Trek versus Star Wars thing. Like,
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
like both. I mean, Star Trek is better, but that's
Star
beside
Trek
the
is
point.
better.
But you can still
Over
like Star
the long
Wars.
run, Star Trek is better.
Yeah.
But original trilogy Star Wars is better than any
I slightly disagree.
any Star Wars movie. Star Trek movie. Maybe not First Contact. Don't know.
Yeah, I'd say First Contact's better than any Star Wars film.
But what about, and it's not even so much a comparing, but what about kind of how does Mandalorian rank as a series compared to Star Trek series? It's by the way, we obviously know it's incredibly difficult to in any way compare, but from a storytelling aspect,
not enough cum.
Not enough jizz bread.
Yeah,
fair enough. Okay, yeah, that's
one scene of Mando just going to town, so you know it's
Star Trek,
Pedro Pascal. Yeah, you know it's Pedro Pascal under there.
But it's no him. It's like that's the thing. In the last 2 seasons, it's hardly been him. It's been somebody else, and he just has a voice now. It's pathetic. Cormac, what did you get for Christmas?
Yeah, obviously because it was just me and my girlfriend. I didn't really want much. My girlfriend had asked me what I wanted, and I said, "Look, a bottle of whiskey because I love whiskey. Right, a free bottle of whiskey as well goes a long way." But what she got me was actually something arguably quite a lot cooler. And I'm wearing it right now as it happens. You know the band Korn?
Yeah.
They are known for wearing Adidas clothing, and Adidas or Adidas, however you pronounce it.
Adidas.
Adidas.
I worked for
Adidas.
Have done a couple of collaborations with Korn in obviously gear merchandise. They've done like their shoes are incredible, but they do tracksuit bottoms, and my girlfriend got the hoodie, and it has Korn on the back.
That's cool.
And you have the Adidas original logo, the Korn logo on the side for anybody listening. And then there's a couple of little other details, and even for example, like the inside lining of the hood is tartan because Jonathan Davis, the lead singer of Korn, knows how to play the bagpipes. His grandmother is actually Scottish, believe it or not, and on a couple of Korn songs he plays bagpipes as an example. So it was just really cool. It was totally unexpected, and yeah, for me that it was just a really thoughtful, kick-ass Christmas present. So yeah, it's good.
Nice. I got a cool
Should have smashed it there.
T-shirt, which is like a Hokusai print T-shirt.
Okay,
but then it's got Blastoise and Charizard on it.
Oh, nice.
So very cool.
Very cool. Anyway, obviously we're here to talk about Star Trek. Is episode 9, should I say? Yeah, episode 9, called Passenger.
Well, funny
Thank God,
funny Christmas story.
Yeah.
Funny, my screen just went blank. Funny Christmas story. Just on Christmas Eve, genuinely thought I was having a heart attack.
What the fuck?
I bent over to move Ferguson and pulled a muscle across my chest, and then got really sweaty and was having like heart palpitation. I still went to the pub, and I turned to my mate. I was like, if I start getting pains in my arm, just call me an ambulance. Luckily, the pains never came, and it was just a pulled muscle because it hurts whenever I move. But for a good 45 minutes, I was
scary shit, man.
Sweating my tits off because it was quite a mild Christmas this year in the UK, and it's like, great, this is going to get me out of everything, and it didn't, and I was annoyed.
I love how you went to the pub, and I had the exact same thing about 5 months ago, and I went to A&E with a 6-month pregnant partner at the time, whatever she was at the time. But yeah, when we're in A&E till 4 in the morning with it, and it was muscular.
Jesus.
I didn't get any pains in my arm. Like, it's because I
Yeah, I
just
knew
got
that.
a pain. Just got a pain in my arm randomly.
I googled
So,
it,
you
and
know.
I knew it wasn't a heart attack, so I kind of calmed down a bit. But then I phoned NHS
Yeah.
24, and they were like, "Yeah, we're going to send out an ambulance." And then I was like, "Oh, maybe I should be panicking." And they'd done the things. They were like, "Yeah, we don't think it's a heart attack, but still go to A&E." And I'm like, "Oh, right, okay,
Jesus.
great." But I
I
love
should
how
take
you
my
just
health.
went to the
I
pub
should
and
take
just
my health more seriously, but you know,
brilliant.
Considering you have a young daughter, you know, it's kind of an important.
Kieran's funny story.
I nearly died.
I almost got out of Christmas by having a heart attack.
We're talking about Star Trek Season 1, Deep Space Nine, Season 1, Episode 9, called Passenger. Before we get into Warp Speed recap and everything else, what are we drinking, guys?
I am on the whiskey Toki again. Got
Nice.
another bottle this year.
Nice.
It's Christmas. Drank quite a lot of it during the tradition on Boxing Day, and it's going down very nicely.
Nice. Yeah, I've yet to
Very
try
nice.
that. I'll have to try and get a bottle.
It's
Yeah,
such a nice whiskey.
Yes, not too harsh on your throat.
I'm going
Gav?
for a Northern Monk Outcast. It's a funky green bottle.
Okay.
It's a hazy IPA, 6.0%. But it was
Very
one
nice.
I was getting some beers for father-in-law for his Christmas. We usually get like 7 beers and bottles of beers and stuff, different beers, and put them in and wrap up them all. And he loves it. And I was like, I'll get a couple for myself, and that one caught my eye. So but no, it's nice. He's really enjoying it. What about yourself, Cormac?
I'm going for, I got this one in the airport, Barcelona airport.
Nice.
Duty free, and it's a liter bottle. It's fantastic. It's a Highland Park Spirit of the Bear whiskey. It is a lovely kind of single malt Scotch whiskey. Has a lovely peaty, smoky texture to it, but it's not too harsh on the throat. So it goes down quite smoothly. Just put a plop of ice in there and then let that meld in. It mellows it out very wonderfully. So I'm going for that.
I've had a few Highland Parks, but I've not had what was it, Smoke of the Bear, did you say it was called? Or
It's a Spirit of the Bear.
Spirit of the Bear. I've not had that one.
Yeah, I think the others is Loyalty of the Wolf, which is a 14-year-old, Wings of the Eagle, which is a 16-year-old, and the Viking Pride Travel Edition, which is an 18-year-old.
Do you prefer the 14-year-olds, yeah?
Got him.
Fucking hell.
Clip that up.
No, because this one is Spirit of the Bear. It doesn't say what age it is. Which I don't know if that's worse or not, but anyway.
So much worse.
Anyway, it was actually tell you a funny cool story as well. During the twilight shifts, one of my colleagues who I was working with, she doesn't drive. Was doing 3 of the lights with her. So she asked if I'd give her a lift home. I was like, yeah, no problem. It's kind of somewhat on the way to mine, so it's no real diversion. More than happy to give her a lift 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to expect her to order a taxi. So in the lead up, about 3-4 days before it started, she handed me this bottle of whiskey as a thank you. And it was apparently from her husband's collection, and it's a 10-year-old triple distilled Irish whiskey. Absolutely glorious. I forget exactly what it's called.
Bit presumptuous of her to give you the gift before you've done the lifts.
Yeah, well, I'm a trusting guy. What can I say?
And
I'd
did the
have said no
husband
at that
know
point.
that something was getting taken from his selection?
It was a Brogan's Legacy. I never heard of it, but it's a decade aged single malt triple distilled.
You like a 10-year-old? You like a 10-year-old Brogan, do you?
God, fuck off, guys. Sick of this shit. Let's get into the Warp Speed recap of Episode 9 of Season 1 of Deep Space Nine, Passenger. Whose turn is it this week, by the way? It's been so long.
It's mine.
Okay, Kieran, take it away.
A dying criminal transfers his consciousness into another person aboard the station, forcing the crew to hunt him down before he can steal a shipment of Diridium. I've got nothing funny to add. I've got nothing funny to add to the end of
I
it.
have to say, when you've read it out, like, see, I didn't think it was the best episode, but when you read it out, I was like, oh my god, that sounds even more boring than it was.
Yeah, I know.
I actually quite enjoyed this episode, but my recap for it, I just wasn't full of laughter this week.
No.
No.
There
It
was
a
something
good
which I
episode,
was
though.
laughing at, but I wasn't
I
meant
enjoyed
to.
the episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really fluid, and there's a few points that I'm really looking forward to talk about, but I think it went by pretty quickly, and
I
from
think
scene to
this-
scene,
I
it
think
was
this
really
is
good.
potentially dialogue-wise, no, because I think some of the dialogue in this episode is ropey as fuck.
Yeah.
Fair.
And it's very, like, there's a lot of people stating the obvious, mostly Dax and Cisco. But actually, how they constructed the episode and how the episode was written, I thought it was one of the stronger episodes, because in my notes, straight away, I was like, she's the prisoner. Right from the beginning, I was like, she's the prisoner. And then halfway through, I was like, oh, no, wait, it's matey boy. What's his name? Lieutenant Preeman. And then,
he kind of came out of
when they
nowhere.
do
I
the
was
reveal,
like, oh.
yeah, when they did the reveal later on of like who he had actually transferred his consciousness to, I was like, fucking hell, didn't see that coming.
Same.
I saw it coming a little bit earlier than maybe you guys, and a little bit more obviously. But I still really loved the structure of the episode. I'm curious as you get further into how the scenes go, what your I thought Dax was great in this episode. I thought she was really strong, personally, as a character, and her knowledge and how she came across in a lot of scenes. But
I think what helps is if
yeah.
you've seen later series of this show, like the bar's pretty high, especially for Gav, not so much for me, but later on in this show, series 4 to 7.
Okay.
7 series, right? Yeah, 4 to 7
yeah, 4
are
to
like
6,
really,
aye,
yeah,
spoilers, but yeah.
yeah. But 4 to 6, like you get more. It's more. It goes less episode of the week and more. Like you get a rolling story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm definitely
The
looking
characters a bit
forward
more
to.
fleshed out as well.
Yeah.
And you do. Yeah, that's just better. It's just a better show later on.
She becomes one of the strongest characters, like in Star Trek,
and so
generally,
does Bashir. Like,
which is weird considering where he is at the moment. I have notes on Bashir.
So yeah,
let's get started because I want to talk about how much of a dickhead Bashir is.
Yeah, I'm there's one thing that came into my mind from this opening scene. So yeah, Kieran and Bashir, they're on a Federation ship and they get a distress call answering it. They beam on board the smoking ship. Apparently no more than 10 minutes breathing time available, so they're under pressure to get the people out of this burning ship after reviving someone. Bashir gets a signal of another life form through a sealed door, and this person tells Bashir, don't go in there, but he ignores, which I kind of think is just, manually overrides, checks the person out, and before he seems to die, he grabs Bashir by the throat and angrily whispers, "Let me live."
So, I mean, at the very start, like, Bashir's, like, talking about how he'd done something amazing. Like, he gets a compliment, and then rather than just taking the compliment and going, thanks a lot, I mean, that means a lot. He's like, yeah, I was amazing, wasn't I? No one else could have done what I done.
Such a prick.
Like, I love myself. I want you. And then the part where they'll say the boy dies, he's like, this is not one I can bring back. It's like some guy you've just met. Like, say, I don't know if he's good or bad or whatever. He's just died, and you have to turn it on yourself and make it about you. This is one I can't bring back. Like, wow.
I imagine that whenever he says something, he's just got a raging hard on for himself. And he's just ready at a moment's notice to whip it out and be like, not only am I an amazing doctor, but I've got a 9.5-inch cock and it's ready for you. Let's go. And he thinks he's so fucking great. It's later on in this episode, right at the end of this episode, with the little twist. I'll spoil it now, because like if you're listening to this, you've probably seen the episode and you're watching along. So later on, when it's revealed that matey boy who dies right at the beginning transfers his consciousness, I've got written in my notes, pump evil Bashir straight into my veins.
Yeah.
I had him down in my good and in my bad and in my boozy for that entire section, because he is phenomenal as a bad guy.
Definitely.
He's brilliant.
Definitely.
I'm hooked. I'm like, pump it straight into my eyeballs.
Turn him heel, mate. Just turn him heel.
Yeah. Turn him heel straight away.
Listen to the crowd.
Whip your 9-incher out at that point. I'm sucking it. I don't care. All right. I'm in.
Have you seen
You've got me.
I don't know if you guys have watched Always Sunny, but the way Dennis views himself, very much like Dr. Bashir, is like kind of like that. Yeah.
Alexander Siddig in that scene is He just changes his voice completely.
We'll,
Lowers
we'll,
the tone
we'll
of it, and he's
yeah,
we'll get into it
we'll
when we get
obviously
there,
get
'cause
into that.
I love
but,
that. That's
But
brilliant.
it's a really good point, 100%. I was really frustrated and annoyed, and it did make sense. Let's say I kind of consider the arrogance that Bashir exudes is normally isolated to when essentially he's trying to fuck somebody.
No, it's just general. Just always.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's going to be a consistent character development. You might be able to tell me otherwise, but it just felt really like, shut the fuck up, Bashir. Like, are we meant to like this character? Are we not meant to like this character? How endearing is he meant to be? It's just a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit flippy floppy. Maybe that plays into, Kira, what you said around later seasons where the episodes are just a lot stronger because the characters are more consistently fleshed out. But yeah, it annoyed me.
He's definitely written, his character is written a lot stronger in the later episodes. And what you have to get past in season 1 is I've always seen it as that he's supposed to be like this amazing young doctor who has been fast tracked through Starfleet to get to where he's at, because he's so intelligent. And when he is arrogant, like he does all, like we haven't really seen him back it up. Like he can talk the talk, but I've not yet really seen him walk the walk in terms of like
other than the
him
fleeting
figuring
moments,
stuff
which
out.
is just
Yeah.
figuring stuff out. But yeah,
Like, and in this, yeah, he's go on, Gav.
I was just gonna say, like maybe if we'd seen that scene that they were talking about where he had done something brilliant, like if we'd seen that, and then they're talking about, and then he's a wee bit more humble, then I think it's a lot more effective. But you need to see like Kieran saying, you need to see what it's like. Yeah, I'm actually doing something amazing, and then you need him to be a bit more humble. Otherwise, you just root against him. Like
so far, he's just been a bit of an arrogant sex pest. Basically, Dennis, so spot on.
Yeah,
definitely. So moving on to kind of like back at Deep Space Nine, Bashir checks on who we find out is Tai Kajada, who's a Kobliad security. She wants to confirm that the other person from the ship, the prisoner Vantika, is dead, and apparently he was heading towards Deep Space Nine. She says he's faked his death before. She stabs the body and demands an autopsy to confirm it's him, and wants her ship scanned for any life forms on board. So a good introduction to Kajada. I think throughout the episode she's played quite strongly.
Yeah, quite assertive, quite like
a little bit like Major Kira to an extent.
Yeah. There's a bit I said, which for a little which I can bring up now. So I like the point where it's kind of like she's been chasing him for 20 years, and
yes,
that whole thing of she's not going to just accept that something's over, like that big life change. And it's understandable that she would be part of her, wants to catch him, wants it to be done, but a part of her would be desperate for him to be alive because that's a big life change, and that human thing of fighting it. I like that throughout the whole episode. She's constantly, and it makes you question a lot of stuff about. But I thought that was good from her. It's like it made sense to why she was desperate for him to be alive in a way, because
but then she wasn't,
but she was, if you know what I mean.
But unlike, for example, O'Brien in the Tusk episode or Kira in the previous episode with if I'm not mistaken, Ibudan. But anyway, she didn't come across desperate for him to be alive. It was just very like, look, I know who this guy is. He is desperate to stay alive. He is still alive. Listen to me. But it didn't come across desperate. However, that's a really good point, Gavin.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
I think later on in the episode, it starts to feel a bit like almost like Batman Joker. That's the only reference I've got.
That's a good one.
There's probably others, but I'm quite tired.
Batman's quite a lot like that. When the Joker dies, he's like, he's not dead. He can't be. He's not.
And he's like, she does as much as she wants him dead. I found like the ending to this episode a bit odd because, like Gav pointed out, right at the start, she wants him dead, but what is her life without him dead? Like, what's the meaning of her life if she's been chasing him for 20 years? And then, she just murks his consciousness at the end.
I did also write down, how do we know she's not the baddie?
That's what I thought. I thought she was the bad. I thought open and shut case straight away. And I think that's why
she's the baddie.
I was like, she's the prisoner. She's playing it, and that's why she wants him dead so bad, so he couldn't speak. I
did like some of the camera angles in this scene specifically. The one where it kind of pans up from Vantika's kind of dead body in the head, panning up towards Bashir. And by the way, every time I'm watching these episodes, you've got this into my brain, Kieran. I always think, is this being shot because it's 16 by 9, if I'm not mistaken, is a ratio 16 by 9, or
4:3 maybe,
or 4:3. But the point is, compared to modern shows, that it's a lot more scaled in front. So now I'm constantly thinking, is that part because of, tweet? So they have to be closer together. But again, I think it really works in this scene. But then the one negative is, and this is my note word for word, I can't help but think that anytime Bashir talks to a female, even if it's in the most professional way, that the only thing he's thinking is, how can I fuck her? And I'm trying not to. I promise you guys, I really try not to. But from the first scene where he's all larrikin to this scene, I'm just like, he's only thinking about how much he can get inside her. Yeah. And it really pisses me off. It really fucking pisses me off.
Is instant dislike of Bashir whenever he appears, because I can't help. They put him in scenes with women and then have him play quite a smarmy, arrogant guy, and it's very much like, what are you? We all know what you're trying to achieve here, son.
Yeah. And in this scene, I felt he was actually quite intimidated by her. How assertive she was. Assured she was, and how she was doubting what he was saying. He's like, he's dead, and she's like, no, he's not. And he was a bit like intimidated by that. But even then, with the way he is, I was like, yeah, but he's intimidated in a sexual way.
Exactly.
We've seen that before. We saw that with
Cullis.
Yeah, like she's like, oh yeah, I'll go for a drink with you. Huh? What?
Yeah.
You will? Okay. And he's bricking it because he knows he can't back it. Yeah, he can't back it up.
Can we talk about the Quark's bar scene with Odo and Quark?
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. Every time they're on screen together, it's literally magical. It is magical.
So good. It's one of the strengths of the show. I thought Odo's makeup looks better as well. I don't know if you've noticed that, but to me, it looks like there's been an upgrade in his makeup, and I think he looks a lot more smoother and a lot more, I don't know. But
I still think he just looks like Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Sounds like Liam Neeson when Liam Neeson is doing an English accent. And that's how I just view him. Like, that's how he's going to just... If someone gets taken, they're fucked. Whoever's taken them is fucked.
But no. I thought the scene was very clever in terms of, as an audience, you know how Odo and Quark's relationship works, right? You know that Odo will tell Quark something because he wants him to know, but he wants Quark to know that he knows, as it is mentioned, obviously, by Sisko. So as an audience member, you know that. But then, obviously, we have this Lieutenant Primin who comes in. He doesn't know, right? He doesn't know who this Odo is. He obviously knows he's head of security, but he looks at that and goes, what the fuck are you doing leaking information? So I really thought that was a great contrast of what the audience knows and what an unknown character or what somebody who doesn't know Odo and Quark's relationship comes in and interprets.
When he came into it, I wrote down, who the feck is this guy? Where did he come from? I bet he's the baddie.
Similar lines from my line just says, Primin is a twat. and then next to it, is he the prisoner? ?
It's interesting because, I did think, like, he's such a prick. Like, what are you doing being so presumptuous with Odo? But then later on, we do see him apologizing to Odo, and we'll get into it, but it kind of reverses a little bit in my eyes. But I think that, again, it's just such a... I think it's very fluid in that sense. But that scene with Quark and Odo is just... It's TV gold.
When he did apologize, I was like, that's quite a suspicious and sharp change in character. He's definitely the bad guy.
Well, no, because it was off the back of Sisko talking to him and providing a bit of logic.
He just bent like that.
I know we're going on a little bit further.
It's the poor man's Chief O'Brien.
Talk about Chief O'Brien. No Chief O'Brien in this episode. Let's go.
No, let's not jump to my bad already. It's 2 episodes in a row we've not had any Chief.
Yeah, but it was nice off the back of what, still like not 4 in a row.
Still fixing up his mother-in-law's house.
Mother-in-law's, yeah.
Yeah, he's like,
an extended holiday.
Another job and another job and another job.
I bet you she's complaining about the jobs he's done and she's making him do it again.
Yeah, 100%.
Dear,
I
will see you next Tuesday.
The good thing in this episode is that no one mentions Chief. No one's battering him behind his back like they normally would. It's because you've got Primin there. Primin's just a twat.
So,
Diet Chief.
Cisco, we kind of move on to Cisco, Dax,
Oh,
Kieran,
before
Bashir.
you move on,
Okay.
move on. Odo, when he that he's talking to Quark about Ractagino. And how he says Ractagino, yeah, and like he does a tiny little head bobble. He just goes Ractagino. That is great.
Yeah,
Sarcastic.
and by the way, Quark's
Ractagino.
infatuation with Dax
Yeah.
is just like.
But I thought I genuinely think like it shows great character growth between Odo and Quark, because everything Quark's saying about Odo is true, and you see it later on in the show. Like he is a guy who ultimately I think has low self-esteem about. Like, well, he has low self-esteem and throws himself into his work, and is lonely, and he's put up this guard of I don't need anyone else. I've just got my work, and that's fine. But
Which
you see him let his guard down later on in the series.
Yeah, even in this episode, when his position is like threatened by this lieutenant, and there's levels of justification.
Instantly resigns.
But
Instantly resigns. Just,
I do think it's like
quit then,
fuck
mate.
you, I'm out of here. Like, you know, it was so like kind of out of left field. It was a little bit like I'm throwing my toys at the pram, Cisco, who's this son of a bitch coming in. But we're obviously getting further in. But yeah, that's a really good point you make, Kieran. Yeah, it's indicative that Quark knows Odo as much as Odo knows Quark, and as much as Odo knows himself, and yeah, it's like I said, it's TV gold whenever they're on scene together. Like I said, Cisco, Dax, Kira, Bashir, they're discussing the incident and conclude that Vantika was on his way to hijack the Deridium shipment. Cisco's cautious that Vantika might have had someone on the DS9 to help him, which I think is kind of pretty clever. At this point, Lieutenant Priman comes in to meet Cisco about the security concern, and Kira suggests contacting Odo, but Priman says he will fill him in later on, which Kira finds suspicious. And I think that's where all of us were like, whoa, why are you leaving Odo out of this? What the fuck? Like, you're the bad guy.
Yeah. And then, like I say, it was very much, he's the bad guy, but then it was like, oh, no, wait, this is a whole Starfleet versus Bajor thing. And I loved how Cisco was like, we are guests of Bajor. Like, I loved that line.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. And it's just sort of, but like, there's that whole thing of like Starfleet versus Bajor is very much that tension still there. And like I say, Bajor didn't want a Starfleet presence on Deep Space Nine. They were just happy to get their ship back, and then all of a sudden there's Starfleet there as well, and there's tension because of that and stuff. And it's good that doesn't go away, and it's still there, and they're still struggling to work together, which is really cool.
I don't know if there's a direct example of it, but I am curious, how would Jean-Luc Picard have handled that situation with Lieutenant Priman and the whole, again, they're there under Bajoran respect, and that has to be considered. But I don't know if there is a direct.
I mean, there's plenty of episodes where he has to respect other cultures and other civilizations and so on. But I don't think he's ever put in a situation. In fact, as once you get past Jean-Luc becoming a member of the Borg, spoilers.
Yeah,
he actually has, like, you actually see a different side of him.
Yeah,
where he's probably, I don't know if he's more cautious, less cautious, but he's definitely, when it comes to the Borg and that situation, he wouldn't have done what Janeway does with 7 and 9. He would have just immediately just been like, yeah, get the fuck off my ship. Like, and there's a lot less respect towards like the Borg for what they've done to him. But I guess like in Cisco's case, like he's almost like caretaker of that station, and he's just been put in a post. He's just doing his job.
But he does it with such pride, right, and such grace. I think the scene with Perman is so well executed. His commanding, logical response. It shows that it doesn't matter who you are. It's like I'll kind of treat you the same, and I'll give you the same response. Shit. I don't think he treats Perman like shit though.
He goes. Priman goes, if you want my opinion, and Cisco just goes, actually, I don't.
Yeah, but that isn't treating somebody like shit. That's just being straight to the point of, no, I don't want your opinion.
I think Jean-Luc Picard would have listened to the opinion, and then smashed up some tiny little ships in his office out of frustration.
Yeah.
But it does allow you to think, well, where's Priman going with this? He's come to Cisco. Cisco's explained, and he seems to kind of respond well, and he does apologize to Odo.
I like how he backs up Odo. Like I say, it's not just a Bajor thing, it is also because he trusts and knows Odo. And he's like, no, Odo's my guy. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
You might be Starfleet and I'm Starfleet, but Odo's my guy. I like that.
Yeah, because he provides audiences perspective of the conversation with Quark and Odo, right? Well, sometimes we want to know that Quark knows that we know.
Yeah,
It's just
we
so
know
like
he knows. We know.
Yeah, it's but it works. It works in a lot of ways. So there's obviously a security issue now, where everything in active memory is being accessed and purged. Kajada says, "Why is his name changed?"
This fucking stinks of Vantica.
Vantica, there you go. Vantica did the same thing on Rigel 7. Kajada says he's alive and he's on board the station, that he would plan a way to access his security files for the Duridium shipment. Dax asks how he would access the computer system.
Yeah, I feel like Dax, again, this is like what I was saying at the start, which is like there's the writing in this episode is very much like they just ask very obvious things. I don't know why, it just frustrates me. Like, I just feel like that wouldn't be the case on a space station.
Maybe to be fair, they could ask less questions and do stuff, but sometimes I would say that turns out to be the opposite. And of course it comes down to writing, but where they just try something in the hope that it works instead of at least asking first. At least in this case, Dax asks and then instantly responds. It's not like 2 scenes later where she responds. It's kind of like instantly she asks something, and then while she's being given an answer, she's using that response to give more information. That's what I kind of liked about this specific scene.
I think it's a wee bit, like say, as an audience, I feel it's kind of like spoon feeding us information and kind of making us
I've
feel
said
like
that
idiots.
already.
And, and it's kind of like it's kind of compared to WWE. Like, you know, that's one of the reasons I don't like that. I know we're like, maybe people listening might not be, but obviously we're all wrestling fans, and I hate how Michael Cole and WWE spoon feed information to you and talk to you like you're stupid, and it's kind of like, aye, like say, I think I got that. Like going in, I'll just ask obvious questions to go and be like, do you get it? Do you get it? And it's kind of
part of the joy to TV shows is like figuring out, especially in episodes like Monster of the Week or Crime of the Week, which is very much the structure of these early episodes. It's like Adventure of the Week. It's like figuring out yourself where that's going to go.
Yeah, but I would argue,
feel like just being spoon-fed directions and they keep hammering, and it's like, he's still alive, he's still alive, he's still alive. And then, like, fair play with the little twist at the end. Didn't see that come in. So it worked in a way. But again, a lot of it's just spoon-fed nonsense just to fill time, I think.
No, I don't think it's just to fill time. I think it's also, and again, kind of similar to Dewey, right? It's trying to cater to the wider audience, and I think that's what Deep Space Nine is trying to. Yeah, and I think that's fair because Next Generation was this much, in my opinion, it was bigger, but it was also isolated, I think, to a bit of a more niche, hardcore Star Trek audience. Whereas my interpretation is that Deep Space Nine was maybe a bit of a way of catching more casual fans and bringing them into the Star Trek universe.
If you're going to do
so you kind of want to spoon feed them a little bit more. I'm not saying it's right, by the way. I'm just trying to say I think that might have been part of the reason why.
But a lot of what they're spoon feeding is just made up space jargon.
Yeah,
so, like,
but
what are you trying to achieve there? Like, what are you trying to achieve there? Like, I could get it if it was like actual, like if it was like a crime show and they were talking about the law, like that's like that's fair. But like there's a scene later with Kira where she's talking about figures, and it's like if this goes 0.3% higher or something or another, something's going to happen with this or that, and so I get it. You're on a space station, you're making it all up, but like, it's just verbal filler for the sake of it. Like, if you're trying to get casual fans, like, this is like one of the things that people get pissed off with at Star Trek is like, I want to watch a show where people are like, I want a show where they're hunting Task and he's jacking it, not Not science. I don't want science.
But I think that's also, I think, part of why, and again later on in series where it becomes more, it's less directly episodic and it's more episodic, but storylines carry over, right? Because it allows you to give a little bit more detail, such
Yeah,
as
definitely.
scientific numbers, and there's a payoff. Whereas because in the early seasons, each episode is like isolated by itself, that we don't need that bullshit information, like you said, Kieran, is just, it's spoon feeding us, like you said. It's a great argument, both sides. And it's good to talk about for sure. Dax finds out, by the way, Vantika had a map of the humanoid brain and his belongings. Quark is grabbed from behind by Vantika, and then in a later scene, and we find Vantika contacted Quark to hire mercenaries for the Diridium shipment. Quark says he did, but then was told Vantika was dead, and Vantika responds almost, but not quite.
And then he does a holy Batman disappearing act, like the smoking and disappearing. It was without the smoke, but it was very much like you see all the jokes about Commissioner Gordon turning around and Batman's not there. It was very much like Quark turning around and Batman's gone. Yeah.
Obviously, it's in the shadows, so we don't see who is who's in the body. What body is in Vantika? Yeah, you do think that, right? 100%. And they do it in a way that they give you no teaser of it. It's very much focused on Quark and how Quark feels of like being grabbed from behind. Now, if he had started rubbing Quark's ear, he would have gotten all the information he wanted out of him.
Tickle his ear, he would have got everything.
Yeah. But I did like those developments throughout board, and then Dax contacts Bashir as he's shown Kajada confirmation that Vantika's body is his. So as far as Bashir is concerned at this point, Vantika is dead. That's it. And I didn't see, by the way, at this point, he's just trying to tell Kajada this to try and subvert, and to kind of not make her think anything else. But Kajada isn't convinced as Bashir leaves. Dax has a theory that although the body dies, the consciousness lives on in another brain. Bashir understands and agrees with Dax's theory. He got to Cisco with the theory that Vantika's consciousness is hiding in Kajada's brain. Odo suggests having some personnel follow Kajada's movement, but Primin says that they are strict on personnel getting ready for the shipment, and just to set the computer to track her movements and alert her if she goes near a secured area. And then Odo adds that she has to be left out of security plans. That's where, again, we're all like,
It was when the female was like talking to Bashir, and then she was like, he asked her something. She was like, I tried to contact you, and she was like, I have trouble sleeping, and I'm like,
yes.
Why are you fucking lying? I'm like, you're fucking suspicious. Obviously I was sniffing up the wrong tree.
Weren't we all in this episode?
Yeah.
But again, I think it's more a fluidity of the episode that it goes from scene to scene. It doesn't really leave much lingering. So it allows you to kind of go, is it this person? Is it that person? Well, that person has done that. That makes me think. And obviously it's narrow as suspects, but again, I really think it does a good job of making you think it could be this person, that person, or the next person. Kajada isn't happy with Odo for being left out of security plans, despite please Odo won't reveal any information. But she does ask Quark about Quark, by the way, saying that she has heard Quark has his hands in everything, and that he's the kind of person Vantika would have in his plans. Kajada does her own investigation and sees Quark talking to 3 mercenaries waiting for Vantika. She then somehow slips, falls off the balcony above.
There was just jump back to Kajada and Odo. Kajada says, "What kind of fool are you?" And Odo goes, "My own special variety."
By the way, that's why, like, in taking these notes, I tried to take on board what we've talked about in terms of not being super descriptive with every part of a scene, because then you go ahead and remind us
absolutely deadpans it.
Beautiful one-liner from Odo.
then we do get onto Quark and the gang.
Yeah.
Quark and the gang. And that's the thing, like, they make out, like, Quark's done some good in these first episodes, but he is flat out just breaking the law at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
They know
know.
about it, and it just goes unpunished. Like, he's like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm the middleman. It doesn't mean you're not breaking the law, son.
Yeah.
Right? And then somehow...
But he's got the bar, though. We do well, he's a bar, though. It's like good income and stuff, like, you know.
If I hand you a gun to shoot somebody, just because I'm the middleman doesn't mean I'm not like partly responsible for.
But how
You know
good's
what I
your
mean?
bar?
Like, pardon?
How good's your bar? Do you
Very
ever-
good.
Well, then we might let you off then, because we don't lose your bar. If you're in prison, we can't enjoy
I've
Quark's
got lots
bar.
of alcohol choices and a hollow suite.
Yeah, which we've not even explored yet. So yeah.
But
But
Kajada should...
what about the scene where Jada falls off? Like, it's so shit. It's
Like,
so
yeah.
shit.
fucking
Like,
falls.
she doesn't even try to get back up. It's just like,
She didn't have a great episode. Like even at the start where it was like Bashir's over the guy and stuff, and she's like, "Don't wake him, don't you?" And then they say she was like, "Ah." She's yeah.
Go to fucking stealth school or something.
yeah,
Figure it out.
yeah.
Just learn how to be quiet. Instead, you're like, oh, I'm just going to climb across this bar. Oh, I've slipped and made loads of
But
noise and given
she's
away my
been
just
position.
the way the scene is filmed is so clunky. It's again, it's the weakest scene of the episode, and kind of took me out of it in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But, and I kind of wish it's really bad, but I kind of wish that she just had have like died at that point. It's like, yeah, fuck it, like
We're done with
you
her.
know, yeah, we're done with her. Like, but
It wasn't
no,
her.
she doesn't.
We
Let's move on.
basically are at that point. Like, she basically
Yeah.
is dead for the
She's
rest
got
of the
one
episode.
line at the end.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This goes with Dax, and Dax has continued to investigate her theory by searching for a way in which Vantica could have delivered a bio-encoded message to someone's brain. She thinks through under his nail, storing his consciousness there. However, we, as the audience, find out it's actually Bashir that has Vantica's. In my opinion, at this point, because the nail thing, and I was like grabbing by the throat. Bashir that has. Oh yeah, sorry. It's also because of the whole Quark and the mercenaries. They go to meet Vantica, and it turns out to be Bashir. But
Yeah.
also from that scene with Dax, I was like, yeah, it's Bashir.
See, I
by the
didn't get
neck.
that, and when it was
I
revealed,
did.
I was like, I feel really stupid. I should have got that. I should have
Okay,
seen that.
okay.
Of course, that was a transfer. As soon as I started talking about transfers and stuff, I was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, see, Dr. Bashir, the way that he was very adamant that, and again, this is maybe should have put me on to them, but the fact that he was adamant that she was sharing a brain with him, and like, see, he was talking to us as if it was a fact, even though they hadn't discovered it yet. I was like, I should have clicked on that was maybe him being a bit deceivious, or just stupid. But the way he was so adamant it was that, I should have maybe clicked on. It was a good twist.
It was good though. It was
Yeah.
great to go from that to the reveal. Again, I just thought it was a nice, like,
Yeah, I think if they left it
don't mess
longer,
about
they
like
might have
that.
figured it out, but they delivered on it at the right time in the episode. And it made me go, oh, wow, I didn't see that coming. And then you piece it together and go, I should have, but I didn't, which is good.
It was just, again, for me, it was like, as soon as Dax mentioned about Under the Nail, I thought, who did Vantica have contact with? And the only person that we see him having contact with is Bashir when he grabbed him by the neck. Great connection, but I just thought the obvious. Now, it could have been Freeman, it could have been Kajada, but I just thought the obvious, and it proved to be true. And Quark is like, what the fuck? And this is where Kieran, full-blown evil Bashir,
Love
give it to me every single week. Evil Bashir all the time.
Yeah. Evil. We get evil Bashir. He's hijacked Bashir. I didn't see it coming. I even said, what a twist. All right. Last 10 minutes of this episode really picked it up for me. We get a little bit of the ship coming, the Diridium ship coming through the wormhole. We've got a cracking scene where they just beam straight aboard.
Yeah, I wrote
Not
that.
messing about.
How easy was it to
Rokova?
take that ship?
It's very easy when members of the crew crab walk onto the bridge with their hands up just to be shot. I've got it down. I've got that down for later because I was cracking up. The guy he just goes, "Whoa," shot against the wall, dead. That's how he goes out.
But
Yeah, like-
I think it's good because that scene is a little bit darker, right? And it adds to Bashir. Again, we know it's Fantica, but the evilness of like Bashir in that sense of like, and he's just like he's like he shoots the mercenary who's like, I don't want any part of this, and instantly without hesitation, Bashir's like,
I put boys a killer doesn't fuck about.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
just cold blooded killer. Just yeah. So yeah, I was saving it for the booze here. We're talking about the posh and slower speaking. That was just like Bashir, just like, you must turn off your tractor beam. Like, why is speaking slow, making it seem like it's something different?
Straight into me. Give me the good
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
Loved it.
You know, evil Bashir should have been given a role as you know, the Die Hard. Is it Die Hard 2 where you have the German guy? That should have been evil Bashir.
Yeah.
Die
Would have
Hard
been
3. Die Hard with a Vengeance.
no, it's not Die Hard 3. It's Die Hard 2 where his
First Die Hard is
German guy Hans Gruber. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. I'm talking about Die Hard 1 with Hans Gruber. It should have been evil Bashir.
should have been
It should have been Hans Bashir.
Hans Bashir. If he just come on doing a German accent, I would have laughed a lot more. But I genuinely think he was great here. Like,
Yeah, he was so good.
almost so bad it was good. Like,
But it was also like
I'm glad you caveated it that way.
it's because we just get a different side of Bashir.
He's
He's still got his boner. It's just for different
No.
reasons.
But it's like so evil. He's like, I've got bigger things to worry about than sex. I've got iridium and money. You know what I mean? Like it's you know, evil Bashir. And I do want to caveat, by the way, for the last like after this scene, for the last like 10 minutes where you said things pick up pace, I was getting ready for work. I was kind of running out of time. I didn't make any direct scene notes, but yeah, the last 10 minutes with the tractor beam with
I can run through it.
yeah, go ahead, mate.
Dax comes up with a plan to send brainwaves down the
Tractor beam.
tractor beam to disrupt Bashir. Cisco's on board, so he tries to stall. Evil Bashir / Fantica knows that he is stalling and just threatens to warp the fuck out of there, destroying the ship, call his bluff. This is where
Also killing because the iridium would explode
it would
and
explode. It'll kill everyone on that ship.
kill and infect thousands and hundreds of thousands of
It
people.
would fuck a lot of people up. This is where, who in my notes I've put Scottish alien because he says I. Once.
Aren't all Scottish people aliens?
Harsh. Oh, you mean actual aliens? I thought you meant.
Oh, okay.
They're coming over here, taking our jobs. Not Gav. He's stayed north of the border like a good boy.
But go on.
Not like you coming over to my England, taking our jobs, mate.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Fuck,
No
I'm
real
there.
come out and stay where you
God
are.
damn it.
So they manage to. He calls Cisco's bluff, and he's about to warp out there. He shoots that alien dead. No fucking about. They manage to send that wave down the tractor beam, and we cut to Dr. Julian Bashir in what looks like he is having a mental orgasm. He's like, something's happened in my pants. And he doesn't know what, but it looks like he's had a good time.
It's not
And he
the
comes
kind he
back
expected.
He comes back to, and he's Dr. Bashir, and he's about to press a button, and then it come again, and
You know the Lonely Island jizz in my pants as that
that's
happens?
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this was
He's come
inspiration
again.
for that music video.
Pretty much.
he goes to press the button, and he gets warped out of there onto Ops, and they're like, oh, Dr. Bashir, and he goes, yeah, I'm all good, but still in his evil voice, and they're like, oh, we don't know if it is you evil bastard. And he goes, no, it is me, and then Cisco's just like, get down, you fucker, shoots him.
Yeah.
Like takes him straight down, and they're like, "We fixed it." Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun. Music, the little sting of the music kicks in, We then cut to Dr. Bashir. He's back. He's got
With a
an
massive hangover.
I've
a
got an
massive
awful
hangover.
headache. Yeah.
I genuinely thought we were going to get our Seinfeld entrance
Yeah,
there. I've got the worst headache.
Yeah. Oh, I wish someone hadn't got in my brain and given me an awful headache and made me come like a madman.
I thought we were going to have a breaking the fourth wall and then winking at the camera, you know?
Yeah. We've got pervert Bashir back. We don't know he's a pervert, but we know he's a pervert. We then cut to Kajada, Dax, and Cisco. And they have a little chinwag about a little round device that's storing the consciousness of Vantika. And Kajada just whips up. Have I got control of the prisoner again? Yes, you do. Whips out her phaser, blasts it. Fucking dark. That's the consciousness of someone, and she just destroys it straight away.
Yeah, she
Now
doesn't
she
talk
knows
about
she
it
can.
either.
And then Dax, what are you like? Cisco, aren't we happy that we gave back the consciousness to her and she's just killed him straight away? Move on to the next episode, the end. That's the last 10 minutes. Done.
Fantastic recap the last 10 minutes. I really enjoyed
Absolutely wonderful, Kieran. Fuck this, man. You're the new host. I bow to you, man. That's it, you know? Incredible.
Cheers.
Incredible. Cheers. Cheers.
But it is like, she just fucking killed a man.
that. Yeah.
But it's good, though, because...
Dax is just like...
But, sorry, you go.
No, I just want to say, like, I was delighted with that because I'm sick of these, like... You know when you have these kind of like, especially when it's bad guys and they're like, I'm going to kill you. They have them captured and they don't shoot them straight away. It's like they try and play with them. It's like, no, Kajada like finally got him. It's like, no, fuck this. I'm getting rid of it. Like, you know, she's been chasing for 20 years. Finally gets his consciousness in his ball. Fuck you, consciousness. You're out of here. Like, it makes sense to me. And I'm glad it ended like, as much as it was like, what's she like? It's kind of like,
But he's
I'm
got no
glad
hands.
she did that.
So how can he transfer himself?
Doesn't matter.
Well, it does, because they make the whole thing, mate, about him...
But she also knows that he will do anything. And if that ball gets into the wrong hands, Kajada's going to end up being alive. Sorry, not Kajada. Vantika's going to end up being alive again. And she doesn't want that.
I think it was really interesting. Like I say, we spoke about the fact that they've been involved in each other's lives for 20 years. The similarities between the two. Like, he is a cold killer that does not fuck about. Like, that guy betrays him. He's like, all right, cool, fuck you, bang, dead. Whereas here, she doesn't fuck about, cold-blooded killer, bang. The similarities between the two when they're mortal enemies I thought was quite interesting.
Yeah. I think it's the right thing to do, but I think there'd be more of a reaction.
Yeah, it should have been, yeah.
Dax laughing in the background, and then just playing a very happy... Like, if that had been Special Victims Unit, it would have just... Or any Law and Order, it would have ended on a very boom, boom.
And again,
the episode would have finished, but instead they put the fucking happy DS9 theme over the top of it, like it's some sort of laugh.
And we talk about the comparisons between Cisco and Picard. Picard would have went fucking mental. Like, he would have been, that is a life. You don't have the right to take that away.
I think it could have been handled in a more generally humane way. As in, if you're gonna do that, do it outside of my station, because it's be done within his station.
That would have been a bit more Cisco reaction.
Yeah, that, you know. Whereas, I think it's kind of like, look, the episode's over with. Who the fuck cares how it ends? Let's just get rid of him. Yeah, so that's actually a good point, Gav. Yeah, could have been handled in a more narratively accurate way of Cisco should have stood for that.
Wrap it up. Let's just shoot it now. They bother going on the ship, but that
for example, when the guys are hunting Tusk, he doesn't stand for happening on his station, right?
Yeah.
So why does he stand for this consciousness, which is a consciousness?
Exactly.
Being killed, being shot on his station.
Because Kajada's a pretty lady. And he stood next to another pretty lady. And he doesn't really know what to do with himself.
But I also think part of our anger at that is because we know we're never going to get evil Bashir ever again.
Yeah, I'm fuming.
I'm alright with that.
But again, overall, fantastic episode. Thought it was
strong end,
really strong, well paced. fluid.
Few too many cooks in this episode for me. Tried to squeeze a lot of the regulars in. I think everyone gets decent screen time except for Chief O'Brien because he's stuck at his mother-in-law's. That's it. He's the only character that isn't in this week.
Yeah.
But everyone else gets at least a few decent scenes this week.
Yeah, Dax and Kira.
Dax, Cisco, Odo, Quark. Yeah, Bashir, obviously.
And one thing I do like is that we're getting more consistent scenes where they're all together discussing a situation and discussing the problem and how to fix it. So I think that's good. Whereas I think in earlier episodes, it's like, okay, well, I'll talk to this person, you talk to that person, and then you're like 5 scenes later and they're all talking together. Whereas at least we're getting like direct, okay, we're all together, let's discuss this out, we'll try this or we'll find something out while we're discussing. It makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, aye, definitely it's good to see that and see that. Comms area, I don't know what it's called, I can't remember what they call it, but that bit is very much being used. Aye, the ops bit has been utilised a lot more for them standing in a circle and having that discussion, and Cisco getting in their consult.
Because they've paid for the set, got to use it.
One scene that I'm a little bit, and again, this goes back to what we talked about of where each episode is purely episodic. For the second episode in a row, we have Starfleet member Bashir, in this case, leave their communicator pin, which is directly against Starfleet protocol.
He leaves it because he's not actually Bashir at that point.
But my point
he's sexy evil Bashir, and he knows what he's doing.
But what I would have liked to have seen is some kind of reference to what happened. As you know what I mean?
Cisco walking in and being like, I fucking told you, keep these on at all times.
Honestly,
do not take them off.
Well, but even something to have connected those episodes would have actually been really cool.
It ends with Cisco writing a harshly worded email to C2.
No.
Distribution list, Deep Space Nine. Hi all, sorry to bother you at this time of night. Just communicator pins. If we could just make sure that we're always wearing them while we're on shift, that'd be great. I don't want to keep going on about it. I've seen it a couple of times now, and I'm really disappointed in all of you. I know it's only a few people, but we have to set the standard here. We have to show Bajor the Starfleet standard, and if we keep losing our communicator pins, we're not doing a very good job.
Also,
if you have any further questions, please reach out to me. All the best. B.Cisco. And in brackets, Commander.
P.S. Also, please remember to stop putting fish in the microwave.
Yeah. P.P.S.
But here's the thing.
Don't forget casual work drinks Friday night at Quarks. I hope to see you all there for some team building. Wear good footwear.
Dancing mandatory.
Yeah.
But not only would he email that, he would print that out and passively aggressively tape it up to every pole in every part of the station. Just go, these people not wearing their communicator pins.
He's printed it off. Everyone's got it. It's all over ops.
And there will be a picture of a communicator pin with it going,
It won't be a picture. It'll be a bit of clip art.
Yeah, of course. You see him working on it. We're clipping up. Can I help you?
I'm having an awful time. I bet he talks to Clippy. You know what, mate? I'm having an awful time with these communicator pins. I'll tell you that. But no, I don't think there's anything else you can help me with. I just want a scene. I want a scene of him dragging and dropping the communicator pin clip art into the email, dropping it, and it just goes like in between like the wrong formatting, and he's just getting more and more frustrated with it. Jake, you're down. You know technology.
Yeah.
Dad, I'm trying to sleep. Yeah, I've got to get this email out.
Actually, it's a preview, but the preview's cut out, but he thinks that is the whole picture that's cut out. I don't get it. I keep on adding it, but it just... And then he sends an email, and instead of having one picture of a communicator pin, it's like 15 pictures of a communicator pin, all the same picture.
He sent it as an attachment in the email.
You haven't seen Lower Decks, but people that have will like this. Like say, the picture of the communicator badge would have to be the picture of Badgie from Lower Decks. I'll send you the photos now, but like that would work perfect for a badge. You've been like, remember to wear your communicator badge.
That's what he's printed off everywhere. It's like
Remember
stuff-
to wear me.
There's gonna be a station mascot called Community or something like that.
It's just, he seems passive aggressive, Cisco, and I definitely think that's the sort of behaviour. He definitely seems like a bit of an uptight office manager who's been brought in to replace the old office manager that everybody loved.
And I know I've made this comparison, but it's like Peralta and
Yeah, Holt.
Holt. Yeah. It's right. It's very similar, and Holt was very, very like that, kind of a little bit passive aggressive, and he would put up, kind of stick to the protocol. You have to by the law. That's it. Yeah,
Cisco seems like the sort of guy you'd be having an argument with, and you'd be like, "Well, look, it just communicator pin fell off, and I'm really sorry it fell off, but I think you're over exaggerating here, Ben. Yeah, you think I'm over exaggerating? Well, my wife's dead, and then just that'd be his.
I'm a single father now. Yeah, I still remember my communicator pin.
I wear mine, even though my wife's dead.
Yeah.
What's that got to do with it?
And I'm raising a son on my own, but I still remember to wear my communicator
I still
pin.
put mine on every morning. It's like, oh, okay. Sorry, Ben.
That's why he's such a dick to Chief O'Brien. Like,
he hates that O'Brien's got a wife.
Anyway.
Chief O'Brien, go back and listen to the glee that he says Chief O'Brien's off station visiting his mother-in-law. Like, he set that up just to get back at Chief.
Anyway, fantastic way to at least end the discussion about the episode. Sassy Cisco and his passive aggressive emails about communicator pins. But let's get on to the good, bad, and boozy. Kieran, what's your good about this episode?
I wrote down the head bobble Ractagino because it cracked me up. But I think my good is Evil Bashir.
Yeah. Definitely.
I went for a strong Odo episode.
Yeah, okay. I do want to, because I didn't really touch upon it too much. I do think he's a bit of a dick to Pemmin, and he's very kind of like, and it's not even stubborn Odo. It's kind of like you're being a prick to him. He's apologized and shook your hand. And I know in a later scene he does actually reflect on that and kind of makes up for it. But I do think it felt a little bit out of left field, with Odo on his initial, after Pemmin apologizes. He's like, fuck you. It's like, how dare you apologize to me kind of thing. Otherwise, yeah, great strong Odo episode.
What about yourself? What'd you go for good?
Yeah, Evil Bashir, just give it to me. It's just fantastic. No two ways about it. Evil Bashir, all day, every day. What about your bad, Kieran?
I wrote down the crab walk in and immediately getting shot, but I think my bad also has to be Evil Bashir.
You can't put a bad the same thing.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I can. It's no rules.
Fair.
For my bad, I can't believe I'm saying this. I wrote down, I'm missing O'Brien.
Yeah. See. Now who's pining for the Irish hunk that is, the curly-haired hunk that is O'Brien. Yeah.
There was somebody else, I can't remember what I was watching, and I said to Beck, like, it's like, the guy's like, I don't know, it's weird, he's like an ugly version of O'Brien. She was like, what? I was like, Brian from the DS9. She was like, I guess I miss him.
For my bad, I'm kind of surprised none of you have mentioned this. There's no Odo shapeshifting.
Yeah. I did think about that. Yeah, that was nearly a bad,
Yeah. I was expecting it, especially when it comes to kind of a mystery of finding out if this person is alive or dead, and there's a security. It's like, it would be a great way of flexing on Pem. It's like, you're a lieutenant. Fuck you, I can shapeshift, bitch. You know? Shapeshift into a giant middle finger.
I can shapeshift, acknowledge me.
Exactly. But yeah, that was my bad. No Odo shapeshifting, especially because we have these guesses on what Odo will shapeshift into next, which I want to remind you, Gav, you have book Here, and you have a light fixture, and me, I have a cat. And we've yet to see an episode where Odo shapeshifted since. So, yeah, that was my bad.
So they'll roll over to the next one.
Kajada and her stealth written down, but I think I might have to go evil Bashir. No. I'm kidding. I'm going with
No. It's evil Bashir for Boozy. That's allowed.
It's still linked.
Yep.
It is when they cut to him just jizzy pants Bashir.
Yeah, I went for Julian's acting when possessed. Yeah.
Okay.
What was your Boozy?
I put Kajada's fall, and I suppose the stealth around that, right, Kieran? It was just so ridiculous that it was like, even Quark was like probably thinking, she's had one too many Raktajaz, is it? Yep.
Raktajino.
I wonder, and I was meant to look it up, if there's actually, you know, the way often in TV shows, Babish, as an example, has made recipes from TV shows, if there's an actual recipe for a Raktajino.
Ooh.
Raktajino. I mean, it is a food. No, it's coming up as food, but yes.
Star Trek drink.
Raktajino was Klingon coffee, served steamed or iced.
Yeah, it's a Klingon. The favorite drink of the swing shifter? No, the favorite drink of the swing shift and Starfleet captains alike. Well, the Klingon drink, it seems to be almost more popular with many other races than with the Klingon on Deep Space Nine. And apparently also popular with Star Trek viewers. Interesting. Okay, so it is, you can replicate your own. I'm not going to try to replicate it, but it's good to know that it is an actual recipe.
Benjamin Sisko started every morning off with Raktajino. In fact, he was not awake, much less did he talk to anyone until he had finished his first cup.
That's so passive aggressive, Sisko. I need my Raktajino to wake up.
Don't talk to me about what has been left in the fridge. I just want my Raktajino, and then I'll sort it out in a minute.
He goes to get his Raktajino. Someone's drank it. Brian, where's my Raktajino? Have you drank it?
Dear all, I left my Raktajino.
Yeah, Ross out of Friends, right? You know, he labels his Raktajino cup.
Yeah,
Sisko's Raktajino.
Has anyone seen my mug? It has a picture of my son on it. It was a gift from my dead wife. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Please leave the mug back in the kitchen and no further consequences will be had. Regards,
check CCTV.
Regards B Sisko, brackets commander.
And then you see him going down. I was like, can you shapeshift into a cup?
What's the matter, Ben? Oh, I'm just sad about my mug. Would you like me to be the mug? Yes, please.
Honestly, we can have a whole episode of that.
Yeah. Be the mug. Please. Shapeshifts and it's a white Jake Sisko. This isn't right.
What the fuck?
Turns out he can't get skin tone correct when he shapeshifts. What would
Yeah,
happen?
I don't.
Here's a question for you though. What would happen if he did turn into a mug and then someone smashed him?
I'd imagine.
Would he be dead?
No, I imagine the piece. You know,
The pieces would just go back together.
Terminator 2.
Yeah, you know, Terminator 2, exactly, Gav. Just the example I was going to give. He just gelled back together and will form back into Odo. And maybe into an uglier version of Odo, but still Odo. But anyway, what a fantastic way to cap off. A great way of getting back into the podcast, boys. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as the bell rings, that is obviously the sound for last orders. We're into the final drink at Vic's Bar, and we want to thank you all for tuning in. Apologies that there was a bit of a 3-week delay, but we'll try not to make
Christmas.
that a habit. See Christmas, everything else, but I can tell you that I very much was excited to get back into it, not only to talk about Star Trek, but to chat with you two and catch up with you boys. It's been thoroughly enjoyable. Follow us over on TikTok at VFHH Star Trek Pod. I haven't really been posting clips recently, but I will get back into it. And you can follow us over on Spotify if you're tuning in, and give us a bit of a rating, please. It does genuinely help. And let us know what you thought over at VFHH Star Trek pod@gmail.com. Feel free to make it a passive-aggressive email in the form of Sisko if you do wish. And on that note, we will see you all next week.
I'm going to go possess my pants.